Hey gang, this is Chris Gore, and I want to let you know that I am on my way to New York City. I'm literally in a car recording this. Thankfully, someone else is driving, but I want to let you know that this Friday, January 13th, I'll be guest co-hosting Geek Time on Sirius XM Howard 101. Guest co-hosting with Ralph Cirilla. You know him, Ralphie Cakes. I'll be on that show. It airs Friday, January 13th at noon Eastern Time. And they also repeat it throughout the weekend. So listen to Ralph and I talk about everything geeky, pop culture, whatnot. But I got to get out of the car, and we got to on with the show. Hey, could you step on it? I've always wanted to say that to a cab driver. I'm actually in New York City, racing to the city just to get to my hotel. I am in New York City actually to go to the junket for the film Red Tails, which opens later this month, and it's often part of my job to come to these film junkets and interview the actors and. I just do my podcast whenever I get a chance, and that's why I'm recording it in vehicles. Well, part of it anyways. This week's Crash, I want to get right to it. This week's PodCRASH, I appeared as a guest on the Paul Goebel Show, which is also known as the King of TV. His website is thekingoftv.com. He's also at Paul Goebel Show. That's spelled Goebel, Goebel Show. And Paul Goebel's a guy I've known for a number of years, actually. Met on the indie film circuit. He did an independent film he did an independent film, and he stood out as an actor in that. I actually also cast him in a film that I co-wrote and produced years ago called My Big Fat Independent Movie. And he plays the crime boss in that film. I thought he was very funny. We had quite a disaster when he had to wear a bald cap, which I might go into more detail later. But appearing on the King of TV's podcast is quite an honor for me, actually. Paul Goebel, in addition to being an actor, a TV trivia genius, was part of the revolving cast of people who appeared on the Beat the Geeks show on Comedy Central. If you ever watch Beat the Geeks, hosted by Blaine Capatch, at Blaine Capatch on Twitter, and Blaine's an amazing stand-up comedian that I've known for a long time. I met Blaine when I first moved to LA, but that's another story. Paul appeared as one of the geniuses on Beat the Geeks, where contestants come up and they would test their trivia knowledge against experts in film, TV, James Bond. And Paul Goebel is the TV geek, and he's had a podcast about television for a long time now. In fact, he reminded me that I actually appeared on his podcast in 2007, and I don't remember doing the podcast actually. But we got together for a very lively discussion of the state of television, and began our conversation talking about, whoa, I love this city. Began our conversation talking about a new show on ABC called Work It. We'll go into detail on the podcast. But in addition, because Paul and the other hosts of the show are embedded in the comedy community in Los Angeles, of which I feel only somewhat peripherally involved, something happened this week. Something happened that was somewhat uncomfortable in the comedy community, involving a Barbara Gray and a Patton Oswalt. And our conversation actually turned to something that erupted between the two of them. But I don't want to bring things down. That'll happen later in the podcast. Right now I'm not even close to my hotel now. Only about halfway there. But I am a huge fan of television as much as I am a fan of film, and I think that there's been a renaissance in TV in the last probably in the last decade, and I think there's nothing more that I enjoy than watching television on DVD. You know what that reminds me of? That you can listen to PodCRASH on Stitcher. That's right, you can hear this show on Stitcher Smart Radio. Stitcher allows you to listen to your favorite shows directly from your iPhone, Android phone, BlackBerry, or Palm phones. On demand and on the go. Don't have Stitcher? Download it for free at Stitcher.com or in your friendly app store. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio. But back to TV. My favorite way to consume TV is actually on DVD. I mean, you can have it amass on your DVR or whatnot, but there's nothing that makes me happier than getting a season of Dexter in a box set on DVD and then just eating it or 30 Rock or something. It's like or The Office or any number of the shows that I love. They're like potato chips. Every time I listen to one episode, listen to an episode, I listen to it and I watch it. That's how I consume television. But actually, I do listen to all the commentaries. When all the episodes have commentaries, I listen to all the commentaries in addition to watching the show. So I'm quite the fan of TV on DVD. And sometimes it takes me a while to warm up to a TV show. I'll hear it's popular, and maybe it's popular. We'll see. But Paul Goebel is a person that I always turn to when I want to find out about something cool on TV. So let's get right to it. My appearance on the Paul Goebel Show, also the King of TV. We're almost there, right?
Behind the screen, there's a world of pure imagination. Behind the screen, there's a...
Hey everybody, this is Paul Goebel. Welcome to the Paul Goebel Show. Thanks for joining us. We're back, babies. And our guest today is a good friend I've known for many years. You've seen him on G4 and he's a member of many, porno and fetish related sites that I'm sure you all are fans of. Mr. Chris Gore is here. Welcome, Chris, to the show.
Paul, thank you for that amazing introduction. How did you know that I'm a member of those sites? And by member, I'm not normally a paying member. Normally what I like to do is see if it's possible for me to get one of those 30-day free passes. I do also like to look at the Start the Tour. I'll click on that, but once it gets to where you have to pay the money, I generally...
But you are a member of SuicideGirls.com?
I was a member of SuicideGirls.com. I have not renewed my subscription lately.
I thought maybe you had a deal going with them, like you gave them something.
I actually used to write for Suicide Girls, so I wrote articles for them. So at that time, I got a free membership.
There you go. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
But Chris was on our show long time ago. Do you even remember being on the show?
You know what's so funny? I actually don't remember being on the show. I was on the show?
Yeah, we came to E. We came to E once.
Oh my God, that's
and
right.
Recorded out front. Do you remember that?
No.
It was in the first 100 shows.
You don't remember it either?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about TV. This week, of course, was a historic week for this year, or rather, last week was a historic week for television because the worst TV show of the year premiered last week.
I did my job.
Excellent.
I watched this thing.
And that was Work It.
First of all, I don't know. The worst TV show of the year? Let's think about this. There has been recently a renaissance in television. I mean, let's face it. There's been a renaissance with, miniseries that have exploded.
Yeah.
Ongoing series, the release of television shows on DVD, and now TV shows hitting the internet. I think we can mark the date that renaissance ended with the premiere of Work It on ABC.
Yeah,
that is when the renaissance of television ended. It's
like when you play Dark Ages begin.
Yeah, this is the Dark Ages of TV is now.
You know how when you're playing Civilization and it says to you at some point you've reached a golden era in your civilization and you start making more money and your armies do better, and then for no reason it says our era's golden era has ended, and then you need to reconfigure things
in Constantinople.
That's exactly right. When Work It premiered, that everything went back to the way it was.
I agree, and I really think that it's going because you look at shows like Community that are brilliant, that is in a state of flux right now, which makes no freaking sense.
Right,
and also shows like Arrested Development, which one day they have to make that movie. I feel like now what's happening with television is because their stakes are so high with mainstream television. I think, we're saying we're jokingly that work it maybe signal the end of the Renaissance. I actually think that it could be because the internet is where good TV, I believe, is going to migrate. You've got YouTube is funding channels. You've got Hulu is doing original content, and Netflix has that show. Oh my gosh, it escapes me. It's the mafia guy that gets
Lilyhammer.
Lilyhammer, and if you saw the trailer for Lilyhammer, it's amazing. Did you see it?
That's Stevie Ray.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
Lilyhammer looks amazing.
Right?
I really, and also you look at things like, to me, HBO. When people are willing to pay for good television, Boardwalk Empire.
Well,
shows like Boardwalk Empire and Dexter.
HBO.
What's that?
In that case, it's HBO.
It's not TV. It's HBO.
Exactly. Okay, it's not TV. It's HBO. Okay, yes. But what I mean is that people are willing to pay for good television, but free television, this really may be the end. I mean, shows like 30 Rock are still hanging on. But
you have a dog named Free Television.
Your dog is named Free Television?
No, he's just being an idiot.
I love...
It's clear. Talking about how bad it is really just like beside the point. Just saying it's bad is, I mean, it's like saying,
but I don't,
there's a sun.
I want to go into some specifics because
go ahead.
Here's the thing. In the very first scene, this is how shitty this show is. In the very first scene, guy comes home. He's lamenting the fact that he's been unemployed for over a year. Gosh, the economy is so rough. And I will say that the show's very relatable.
Oh, sure.
Fucking assholes. So then he goes, he has a job. He went for a job interview and he goes, well, it wasn't a total waste. I got these. And he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out sugar packets. And she says, oh, sugar packets. Oh, okay, he stole sugar packets, which isn't a very funny joke, really.
No.
But also salt and pepper. And then, okay, the unfunny joke, now you've tagged the unfunny joke.
Right.
And then wait for it. What? We're not done with the shitty joke, and he reaches in to grab something else, which is just something else you took, right? And he can't. It's as if the costume guy gave him too small a pocket in his jacket, because it takes forever for him to put that fucking meat hook that's later on going to be a lady hand, and he fucking puts his little fucking meat hook, and it takes forever, and it's, what is it? Is it a surprise? Is it something different? No, it's just ketchup packets.
Get it?
Also, what office has ketchup packets? Why does that make sense?
And soy sauce.
Why does that make sense?
Well,
it's. I mean, a couple big problems that I had, and I immediately identify with everything you said. I mean, the humor is lame. The thing that struck me actually that was irritating was they're making light of the whole economic crisis in the U.S. I think that's. I mean, not that should not be an area of humor, but I think the way that they've done it is so condescending and so irritating. The thing that bugged me was, why the fuck are they still in a house that has an island in the kitchen?
Mm-hmm.
Just as someone who has in the past purchased a home, and you look at homes, a house that has an island in the kitchen, that's getting up there in cost.
How were they able to afford that in the first place? If
he's been out of work for a year, why are they still in that house? And look, the sort of gender switching where he's, playing a woman, that's a classic in comedy. Bugs Bunny's done it.
Right. But Bugs Bunny looked more like a woman than these guys do.
This guy did
That's
not.
the sad part.
It's I mean, the humor was offensive, and it wasn't funny.
It was racist. It was misogynist.
Oh my god! Yeah. So it just sort of hit all the marks of. It wasn't just bad. Bad would be fine. I could handle bad. It was just across the board, like it's sort of the death knell rung. And I thought it was the show Whitney, which I happen to like. Whitney Cummings, the comedian, the style of show she's doing, that Whitney show on NBC, which I'll always catch the tail part of Whitney. Yeah, it's just like after The Office, which I love. The Office, that's the style of comedy that I like today. I think that that is modern comedy. Is that an ode to the old style comedy with the fake laughter and BS and jokes that aren't funny and people out of central casting where everybody's good looking and everybody looks exactly the same and there's no diversity in the people. I'm not talking about racial diversity, even just diversity in the human style. Interesting looking people.
Yeah, you talk about
exist. Whitney is awful, and like this thing, Work It, is an offense to the TV gods.
What I say is,
but I want to know what you think, Paul.
Well, like,
Since you are the king of TV, king of
Thank
TV.
you. The show before it, the new and improved Home Improvement, the Tim Allen show, that's a bad show. That's what I would call bad.
Right.
So Work It would have to improve by yards to be as good as that bad show. And I think that's funny because it's like you watch the Tim Allen show and you're like, oh, this is pretty horrible. Then you watch Work and go, all right, Tim Allen thing's not so bad. I'm going to check that out again. And of course, the sad part is they canceled Man Up and put Work It in its place. And Man Up, actually, I thought it was really funny.
I liked Man Up a
and
lot.
the kids liked it, and I could watch it with the kids, and there was funny jokes in it. This fucking thing. I mean, at one point, Amaury Nolasco says, "Well, I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm good at selling drugs." Whoa, that's not cool. That's not a cool thing to say.
Yeah.
Why? Because all Puerto Ricans sell drugs, and you can say that because you're Puerto Rican? That's not okay.
White writers, you're so
Right?
Okay, we're still not quite at the hotel, but boy, New York is hopping with construction. There's a jackhammer that seems to be going here, plowing that cement 24/7. God, I love New York. This is unrelated to the current podcast, which I hope you're enjoying. Paul Goebel and his merry band of men. I'll be plugging all their Twitters and .coms and whatnot at the end of the show. But another reason that I'm in New York, not only to visit with some friends and have a couple meetings here and there, but is I'll be appearing, and I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'll be on Geek Time with Ralph Cirilla later this week, and that's on the Sirius XM radio Howard channel, Howard 101, actually. It's the 101 channel for Howard. In fact, I bought my Sirius satellite radio the day that Howard went live, the first day, which was, I don't know, God, what was that, 2000, was it 2006? It was 2006, and I was frantic going from store to store because I thought, I'll just pick one up on the day, and I knew it was going to be on. I've listened to Howard Stern since Howard Stern and Baba Booey and Ralph Cirilla, Richard and Sal, Robin Quivers, Fred, the whole gang. I've been listening to them since, well, not Richard and Sal. I've been listening to Howard since I lived in Detroit. And then in Los Angeles, rediscovered him, and then he was on regular radio, but I really feel Howard really found his voice on satellite, and I've been a loyal listener for years and a loyal Sirius subscriber, so it's quite an honor for me to be able to host that show, guest co-host that show with Ralph this week. It's only because John Hine happens to be at CES and I'm not at CES. So it all works out for everybody. Anyways, back to the podcast. Paul Goebel and the King of TV. I want to hear your defense of Whitney.
I don't have a great defense.
Okay. After this, let's discuss Whitney, please.
All right, so
Whitney,
I'll
please.
sample a lot of shows, and I'm very patient, especially with comedies. This particular show, every ad I saw for it was just so ham-fisted, so not at all clever, so just like the worst possible version you could imagine someone doing of this premise, that I said, no, I don't think I can do this. I do not want to watch this show. And I did, and I just let it slip off my radar. So
even when you got the email that I said, please watch it so we can talk about it, you said no.
in one ear and out the other.
You said, I will not do that, sir. Nice.
The commercials looked so terrible. I just couldn't do it.
Is it just they're looking to fill a slot and just like, this is all we've got?
Well, they announced this back in the fall, so.
But even I heard at the upfronts, this was ridiculed as
Of course it was.
Like before it even premiered, people were saying, "Why are you even making this?" I mean, there's so many pilots. I mean, you've seen like there's a lot of dead TV pilots that have made it to air. There was the one Conan O'Brien produced one with Adam West where he was
Look Well.
Yeah, where he played a cop. Well, no, he played a cop on TV. He was an actor who played a cop on TV and had an honorary badge that was in Lucite.
All right, well, so that's obviously Work It is horrible. I think that's the final word on that.
Just so.
Let's talk about this thing that happened over the weekend. For those of you who don't know, comedian Barbara Gray wrote a blog about how she went to see Patton Oswalt, and he went off on this woman in the audience.
Well, no, she didn't go see him. It was her show. She was performing at the show.
Well, that's what I mean.
He did a drop.
She saw him. To say it was her show is.
Well, Barbara Gray's a comedian.
Yes.
She was performing as
she was performing on the show. Yeah.
Part of a comedy show, and Patton Oswalt did a drop-in.
Right.
Where if you're a big, famous, and established comedian, you can pretty much drop in anywhere to try out new material at smaller shows, where at least you have the safety of hopefully being able to just see if this new material works.
Right.
And you can kind of work it out.
And a lot of people knew, but it wasn't like a surprise. Like, I remember back when I used to work at the Improv, every once in a while, like, Chris Rock would show up. And, of course, it was completely unannounced. And it was just like, oh, you guys are lucky you're here tonight. Here's Chris Rock with his notebook, going to try out some jokes. But everybody knew Patton was going to be on the show, so it was a packed house.
And I've seen some drop-ins before. I saw Aziz Ansari once, and he was funny. But what he was doing was he was doing material off of his iPhone. So he would just go, he'd sort of check through his like email. He was going through folders or like his notepad, and he'd do a joke. Okay, and then he just go. It was
does that at the Magic Castle.
Yeah. Patton, though, I know when he's trying out new material, he's really trying to perform it. Like, he's trying to actually get, and I know he's the type of person that he approaches his material like a writer. Like, I'm going to lose that sentence there. Right. This is a better segue.
And also, he's preparing it for a special.
Right.
Because unlike, he's not preparing it to go on the road or anything. He's putting a new special together. And for those of you who don't know, once you do a special, that you can't do that material ever again. Because, like, you do that material on the road, people go, we saw it, and so it's a big deal. You can only do that once. So he was trying to work on a new bit.
Is it for a special, or is it for a new CD, or?
He said it was for a special.
I thought it was for a special.
Okay.
Yeah. So what happened is a woman pulled out her phone and she was taping him. He asked her to stop. I'm just going to give the short version because you can see this on the web. She asked her to stop. He asked her to stop. She said okay, but she was kind of a dick about it. He went off on her. He wasn't like violent about it, but he went off. She eventually left. He kept talking shit about her. And Barbara Gray felt it necessary to write this blog about it, how basically it was sad and gross seeing one of her heroes go off on this woman and like make fun of her for being ugly and whatever.
She also said that it created kind of a vibe in the room.
But that always happens. I mean, the thing is, that's always going to happen.
But I think you just have to acknowledge the elephant in the room. I mean,
You have to.
I did a stand-up gig recently where... I mean, it was a good, like, the comedians were good. It was a fun show and a lot of, good energy with the audience. But it was off Melrose where you could hear the traffic in the room. And my first thing when I got up, and I'm surprised that no one did it before me. But I finally, once I got up on stage, I said, hey, so great to be this. We're the acoustics you can hear when the bus is going by. I'm going to have to time my jokes. When
that happened, I mean, there's
a bus schedule. I mean, it's like you just have to sort of acknowledge the elephant in the room.
You have to.
And kind of change
I remember once
the vibe. But it's this is weird. Is it as bad as so is it as bad as say? Because immediately when I heard the circumstances, before I'd even read the blog, I was immediately already on Patton's side because the idea of having a comedian's material is precious. Especially when you're working it out. It's like it would be like. Your favorite band performing demo versions of their songs in front of an audience to kind of see if they play. So
and then you record, and then somebody records it.
And somebody records it and then puts the demo version out.
No, you're absolutely right.
It's actually even worse than that. It's even worse than that because even if that were to happen, people would still be interested in the final product of the demo songs. Whereas with the joke, the demo version of the joke ruins the finished version of the joke more or less if you've seen the demo, right?
Yeah, and what happens is, I mean, that this kind of shit happens all the time. And what's funny to me is it gained a lot of traction over the weekend. Patton posted a response to it, and I guess he had a back and forth with Barbara, and a lot of people weighed in and said, fuck that woman, or wow, Patton, like April Richardson, who's going to be on the show next week or the week after.
Oh, I love April. Can you say hi to her for me?
Okay.
We did a show together at M-Bar.
Yeah, she's great.
I love April.
But she even said, for him to talk about the woman's looks is really fucked up and out of line. And the bottom line, what it all came down to was everyone said, yes, that woman was wrong, but Patton could have handled it better.
But he did. If he called her a cunt, I'd say, okay, that was too far. Because I've only called a woman a cunt once, and it was when I was breaking up with a girl, and I did not want any chance that we would ever get back together. Because that's like when if you use the word cunt, you're closing a door.
Yes.
And I wanted to make sure that it was one of those volatile relationships where we're breaking up and getting back together, breaking up, getting back together. But if you call her a cunt,
it's done deal.
That's the door closer. That was my closer for that girl, was calling her a cunt.
And then he said, "Thank you, good night."
And so
it is a strong closer.
Right. Patton obviously he went too far, but I'm kind of on his side. Even hearing all the gory details from, I've heard the only person who hasn't responded is the girl that actually did it.
Yeah, that's the part that's missing.
But the guy that's in the audience did say it seemed as if she was a person who didn't really regularly go to comedy clubs. Because if you're just a fan and you go see comedy, there's certain etiquette. You don't heckle, you don't videotape.
Yeah.
You don't take a conversation or a phone call. You get out of the room.
Yeah.
You definitely turn your cell phone on. There's a respect, and she just was unaware of it and shouldn't have been at that show, or someone in the audience should have at least. And what Patton described, and this is actually important to know, it wasn't just she was filming with the camera. It had the light on. It had the flash. It was a piercing light in his eye.
Yeah.
If you I went to a comedy show and I saw Mark Maron once.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm going to admit this. I saw Mark Maron at a comedy show. He's a comedy hero of mine. I listen to his podcast. I think Mark Maron's great with WTF. And I've seen him a couple times live. So I'm at this comedy show, and all I was doing was taking a picture. I left my flash on, unbeknownst to me. I normally go to HDR mode.
Okay.
I had it on auto. It flashed. I was so embarrassed. I felt so bad. And he looked right at me, and he made it into a thing. He was great about it. He goes, "Wait a sec. What? Is my time up? Is my time up? Is that the?" And I said, "No. And I didn't want to become part of the show. I was apologetic, and I was really, oh God, I was so embarrassed. But so there is an etiquette, and she just clearly didn't know the etiquette. Also, she was a cunt.
If you read the blogs, it's made, Patton says that she mouthed "what an asshole," basically called him an asshole to her friends, and was very sarcastic. And when he said please delete it, she said okay, and then put the phone in her purse. Didn't delete it, put the phone in her purse.
But here's what I found the most interesting about the whole thing. Barbara Gray's a friend of mine. She's a funny lady. She's a newer comic. She's probably been doing comedy a year or two, so she's very fresh and very wide-eyed. And I would imagine, from what she said to me in the past and to other people, I think Patton is one of her idols. Mm-hmm. So obviously we're talking about something rather monumental from her point of view, which is meeting one of her idols. Where I think Patton went too far, if he went too far, and who gives a fuck what I think, but we're talking about it, is after she left the room, continuing to talk about a woman who's not even in the room. Because honestly, I don't even think saying cunt is too far contextually if she's still in the room being belligerent.
So you're cool with cunt?
I actually am. I'm cool with cunt. Whenever I get some, I love it. It's all good. But if she's
you know a word I don't like when people use the word cunny. Have you ever seen that in text?
In westerns.
Oh, my cunny. What the fuck? She had a dripping cunny.
Well, Clint Eastwood says that in Unforgiven. I hear they even cut up her cunny.
Yeah.
It's very disturbing.
So, if she was still in the room participating.
And speaking of people that aren't dripping cunnies, back to Barbara Gray.
Yeah. If the bad person if the person was still in the room, whatever he had to say, well, you shouldn't be doing that, so it's all fair game. She had already left, and then you made it into, and there were other things. If you're just going to talk about how it's ridiculous that she was taping and whatever, but now you're talking about her looks. Now, I read Barbara Gray's thing, and I read Patton Oswalt's thing. Here's the funniest thing to me. Patton Oswalt's response to Barbara Gray was a gracious, you know what, you're right, I went too far, but let me tell you the part of the story you didn't get.
Right.
A very measured, funny, well-written response to what Barbara had written, which was also well-written. They were both well-written, well-explored thoughts. And Patton basically said, you're right, but you don't have the whole story.
That's exactly
Here's the whole story. What's funny to me about that is that's all you need to complete the story. Every stupid fanboy of Patton's who he has wonderful fans as well, but he's got these dipshit fans who immediately attacked Barbara for something she didn't say. Like, there were a bunch of posts that were like, so you think it's okay to record? No, that's not what she said.
Yeah, her complaint was about how he handled it. She wasn't defending the recording.
And after Patton's response, she said thank you to everybody who said some very interesting things, particularly to Patton. The only thing she referenced about Patton's blog was thank you. And she, by the way, stayed judiciously silent after the firestorm started. Like, you'll see her.
Well, what's the firestorm? I mean, the whole thing is this. Here's a question.
People attacking her, a bunch of just on Twitter.
And maybe you could look. Should she even have written about it? I feel like maybe she could have written that up as an email and sent it to Patton rather than publicly airing it.
This is where
that's the question.
This is where I want to jump in because,
please,
as far as the incident goes, I consider Patton a friend, and there was a time before he was married and had kids, before I was divorced and sad. There was a time when we would see each other at shows and we would hang out. He lives just down the street, and we would have conversations and talk on the phone and I've always considered him a friend and a cool guy. And the more you know about Patton, the more you know how this incident, why this happens. He said many times, I was bullied when I was a kid, and then when I achieved a level of fame, I became a bully because of that, and I tried very hard not to, and that's kind of what happened with that. And what I say is, and I tweeted this, is this something that can happen now? Every time somebody you like or somebody you admire does something you don't like, you're going to blog about it and talk about it? Because if that's the case, I got a fucking story for everyone.
Well, yeah.
I got quite a few, and as a matter of fact, I mean, my question is, and I've asked Barbara to be on the show a number of times, and it has not worked out. She just has been out of town or whatever. But my question is, what is it that made you feel like you had to tell this story, that made you feel like you said, that made you feel so gross that you had to tell it? And more importantly, and let me read this from Patton's Facebook page. He says, and I'm quoting, he says, no better way to start the weekend than defending your humor to someone who is humorless and trying to be honest and open with someone hiding her calculation and careerism under a faux, adorkable quilt of quirky, wide-eyed, whimsical narcissism. Now, clearly he's talking about Barbara there. And I don't know her well enough to know if that's true, but I do know for a fact that her adorkable, wide-eyed, whimsical narcissism describes her to a T. Now, I don't know her well enough to know if that's a quilt or faux or any other shit, but the fact that she felt it necessary to blog about it kind of makes me think maybe she saw this as an opening. I'm going to blog about a guy and be a hero, and it's going to start a shitstorm, and I'm going to get some press about it.
Well, we'll see. Is it going to be in the LA Times this week? Is it going to be in the Hollywood Reporter? Is it going to blow up that big?
No.
I mean, but that's the thing is, look, we all have, when you work production, I mean, look. It's stuff gets, having done long hours on TV shows, people have their moments.
Yeah,
right? Everybody has. Agreed. And who cares? That comes with the territory. At the end of the day, hugs, and you move on. This is a totally separate thing, but it's something that,
now listen.
If if I experienced that, I don't think I would have written about it at all.
Okay, here's
that's I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I know Barbara Gray. I don't think that she's what Patton just described.
She's not adorkable, because that's a pretty good word.
No,
he's saying she's not faux adorkable.
Right. I'm saying most people would rather be called a cunt than adorkable.
Not Zoe Deschanel.
I'm going to try it if I ever meet her.
Okay.
What if she's adorably cunty?
You're a cuntable.
You need to be held accountable.
Here's the thing: the Barbara Gray that I know, I don't see it that way. I do see her as a heart on her sleeve kind of person who blogs. I also see her as a person who very likely was drunk.
You think she was drinking when she decided to post it? Because I've done things like that.
Okay, I'm now safely in my hotel room after a long cab ride into New York City. I did not expect that podcast to take that gossipy turn, but it did. I'm not sure how wise it was for Barbara to title her blog post "That One Time When Patton Oswalt Was an Asshole." especially when we live in an age when people pretty much just read the tweet or the headline. People don't read beyond the headlines, and so maybe not the wisest decision to title the piece that. In any case, didn't mean to bring you guys down with all that, but I want to end this episode of PodCRASH on a positive note. And in this next segment, we talk about my favorite TV show that you probably have never heard of, that I hope that you seek out and find, legally. So enjoy this next segment of the Paul Goebel Show, the King of TV.
I have a favorite BBC show that you'll have to BitTorrent, although I do have a Region 2 DVD of it, which is Nathan Barley. Have you ever seen Nathan Barley?
I've never even heard of it.
Write that one down.
Okay.
If you talk Nathan Barley, I'll come back on the show because I would love to discuss it with you. Might even have episodes on my phone. Nathan Barley is brilliant. It's basically about how internet and web culture is making people stupider.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about this guy who writes an article called Rise of the Idiots for a magazine called Sugar Ape, which is a culture magazine that they have a meeting with the magazine staff, and he holds up, what do you think, the new logo? And the logo says rape. And then really tiny letters it says sugar,
right.
Sugar Ape. It just says rape really big. What does everyone think of the new logo? So he writes this letter. He's surrounded by morons. They're playing a version of a game that's like rock, paper, scissors, but they play cock, muff, bunghole. And it's very similar to rock, paper, scissors. And you trust me, look up cock, muff, bunghole.
Nice.
And Nathan Barley's this moron who has collected like all these like stupid internet videos, and he runs this website called trashbat.cock because it was registered in the Cook Islands outside of New Zealand. You have to actually, the only way to get a .co.ck internet address is to go to the Cook Islands outside of New Zealand and actually register it physically there at their offices. You can't do it over the internet. So he owns trashbat.cock and runs these videos and somehow becomes friends with this guy who wrote this article, but he's attracted like all the morons that he despises with a passion, end up worshiping him because he thinks, oh yeah, they're talking about those other idiots, not us. We're not the idiots. Those other stupid people. So every time he's talking about morons, so he's being revered by the very people he's repulsed by. And so it's an awesome show. It only lasted 6 episodes, and it was not a hit in the United States to the point where it did not appear on BBC America ever. I had to find it on the internet. I bought a DVD, a legally obtained DVD, and I even passed it on to the president at G4 TV where I work, and I said, we need to get this show. Fuck this cops, cheaters bullshit we run on G4, which has no connection whatsoever to Attack of the Show and X-Play or Web Soup.
Right.
It's like those shows fit the demographic audience. These other shows that they put on, I have no idea who the fuck they're trying to reach.
I think they're just trying to make
Although
money.
we have a new president at G4, right?
No.
A guy named Adam Stotsky is the new guy, and he's from Sci-Fi Channel, and he's now taken over G4. I have no idea what the politics are of this.
Give me a meeting with that guy.
I'm sure Cops got great ratings. First of all, I got to get myself a meeting with Adam Stotsky. But I mean, look, I'm sure Cops got great ratings.
Yeah.
And they're great lead-ins. But it's the kind of show people just flip through and they go, oh, I guess I'll watch this. But but I feel that it was so different than the kind of thing that was on my own network. I'd like to hear you review G4 TV, and that would be really interesting for me. That'd be very meta.
Well, maybe
if we have time, you'll give an assessment.
Maybe when I come on your show.
Yeah. When you come, well, you are on my show.
Oh, wait a minute.
You are on my show. You're on PodCRASH.
So that's our show this week. Apologies for such a short episode, but I'm traveling. I'm in the middle of a bunch of stuff. So, but I hope you really enjoyed it. You can follow Paul Goebel's show at Paul Goebel Show. That's Paul, Goebel Show on the Twitter. And the podcast is at thekingoftv.com. Also, his co-hosts really want to thank Jim Bruce and Tom Griffin. You can follow Jim Bruce at Comic Jim Bruce. And Tom Griffin just joined Twitter. I have no idea what he is on Twitter, but those guys were great. We had a lively, fun conversation about TV. And I am so proud of the fact that I was actually able to stump basically the TV geek, Paul Goebel, the king of TV, by introducing him to a TV show that he's never heard of, Nathan Barley, which oddly enough you can find on YouTube. So look for clips of Nathan Barley on YouTube. I think it would have been a great fit for G4. You can also follow me. I'm at that Chris Gore on Twitter, chrisgore.com, and follow the show, especially at PodCRASH Show. And you know what? It really helps us too if you go to little iTunes and you offer a rating. Give me 5 stars if you think I deserve it, and especially go in and leave a comment because I read all the comments on iTunes. So that's awesome. And so that's it for this week. We have some great upcoming episodes. But as we're wrapping up, I'm always fond of saying my favorite thing often can be heard at the end of a lot of action movies, a lot of sci-fi movies, not so much of romantic comedies. But I love to say, let's get out of here! Hey, if you're still listening to this, you're probably a lot like me. You're the kind of person who stays until the entire end of a movie and watches all the credits. I like you. For that you shall be rewarded. If you would like to get your PodCRASH Fan Club kit, it's free. Just send a self-addressed stamped envelope to PodCRASH with that Chris Gore, 5042 Wilshire Boulevard, PMB 1500, Los Angeles, California, 90036. And the first 5 people to go to thatchrisgore.com, click on Contact, and put in the, in the body of the email, give me a free DVD, Gore, I'll send you one. It's that easy, but you have to be one of the first 5 people to do that. Also, if you're still listening, you're about to receive an Easter egg. That's right. If you keep listening, at the very end of this, you will hear the entire episode of the Paul Goebel Show from 2007 that I appeared on. And it's fairly entertaining. So, there you go. See? Wasn't that easy? Enjoy. This is the Paul Goebel Show, the king of TV, the episode that I appeared on in 2007, which was recorded right outside the G4 studios, somewhere in the courtyard, and I'm sure I said something incredibly embarrassing and stupid, and you can tell me about it later. Later.
Behind the screen, there's a world of pure imagination. Behind the screen.
Fans of the television or otherwise, this is Paul Goebel, and you are listening to the Paul Goebel Show. Joining me, as always, is my co-host and best friend, Jim Bruce.
Hello, everybody. I'm a fan of the television.
Both of us. And our guest today is a good friend of mine who I've worked with on many projects. You probably know him best from his work on his magazine and website, Film Threat and FilmThreat.com. Editor-in-chief, right?
No, I promoted myself. I'm the publisher.
Publisher.
The editor-in-chief is Mark Bell.
Okay, publisher of Film Threat, Chris Gore is here.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And Chris is
You worked with Tim Bennett, right?
No.
Chris has worked on many projects. I guess the biggest one we worked on together was the movie, the Big Fat Independent Film.
Yeah.
Which is on. Is it still on Sundance?
It's currently playing on the Sundance Channel, Showtime, and Movie Channel.
And you can rent it at Blockbuster, right?
Sure, yeah.
Did I see that at Blockbuster?
Yeah.
I think I did.
Definitely. You can rent the R-rated version. The unrated version is, of course, only available on the interweb.
The interweb with all the swears.
Yeah.
It's got all those swears in it. That was, but that was a super fun project. I don't get to do a lot of features, but that was a fun thing to do, working with Chris and all those guys. I'll be honest, I kind of suck in that movie, but don't hold it against the movie, because the rest of the movie is very funny.
And there's lots of jokes about anal sex. So
yes.
if you're the type of person that finds the idea of anal sex funny and or titillating, I think my big fat independent movie is for you.
Or even if you just think anal sex is funny, like when you have it, it makes you laugh.
Yeah.
It's perfect, because I know whenever I have anal sex, I cannot stop laughing.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, wow, that feels so funny.
Yeah.
Is what I always
it makes
say.
me laugh too, but only because Paul's penis makes my butthole tingle.
Because I move it around all crazy.
Yeah, it's good. What he does is good. It's neat.
All right.
It's good stuff.
Actually, I'll tell you a funny story about Chris. Before we met, we were fans of each other, and I did this documentary about Star Trek Geeks with Graham Elwood, and it got a huge write-up in Film Threat when it used to be a magazine. Mm-hmm. And it was great because, like, it had a big picture of ours and stuff. And then when I got on Beat the Geeks, Chris was, of course, being a big film geek, was a fan of Beat the Geeks. And so
I love that show. It was actually produced by Mindless Entertainment, same company I've worked with on 3 shows.
Yeah, Ultimate Film Fanatic.
The X Show and
then your
the new
review
movie
show.
The new movie show.
That's right, that's right. Mark Cronin and those guys did those shows. But the first time we met was when we went to see Scooby-Doo together.
Oh my God, that's right, yeah.
You brought your kids and I brought one of my kids to see Scooby-Doo.
That's right.
And the movie blew, but that was a lot of fun seeing that movie with our kids. And that was actually, I think, the first time I enjoyed seeing a movie with my kids. Right. That was a great time. But since then, we've worked on many projects. We've been friends together, and we've tried to have Chris on for a long time, but he's here now to share his opinions and thoughts about television and movies. First topic I want to talk about is the Video Music Awards that were just on recently. What was that? Like 2 nights ago, Sunday, right?
Yeah.
And they sucked, and I don't think I'm doing any shocking reviews here by saying they sucked, but here's why they sucked, in my opinion. First of all, they didn't repeat the VMAs. It was on once, no repeats. It was the first time they've done that. You know, usually they repeat the shit out of it over and over again.
But even they know.
But even they know better. But secondly, they did it in Vegas, and they had it from like 4 or 5 different hotels, and there were parties going on at all these hotels.
Yeah.
So it's like they didn't even wait till the show was over for everyone to start partying. So it was just more of a clusterfuck than usual. And the best part, the only good part of the show was Justin Timberlake, when he kept coming out, winning awards and whatever, he kept saying, play more videos, MTV, play more videos, less reality shows, more videos, which I thought was pretty great.
Yeah.
Because that's what, we've been saying for years, that's what the fans have been saying for years, but he kind of called them out on their own show, which was funny. And he said, we don't need to see The Simpsons anymore, which I assume he was talking about Jessica Simpson and Nick Simpson.
Or maybe that was separate. He just doesn't like The Simpsons.
More videos, and besides that, no more Simpsons. I don't get it. How can he be so dumb and work at a nuclear
Family Guy.
Well, I have to say, I didn't watch the Video Music Awards, and I'm really glad. In fact, I wish I could go back in time and tell the version of you that didn't see it to not watch it. Because
I wish you could, too.
I wish I could. First of all, I don't like award shows in general. I find them to be just the worst, most torturous kind of TV. In fact, the only award show I watch is the Oscars, and I watch it in TiVo time. So that I can fast forward through the commercials, fast forward through the musical numbers, fast forward through the little tributes with the stirring orchestral music. I like to watch the Oscars in about 50 minutes, which is about all the programming. The only thing I did see of the Video Music Awards was the Britney Spears highlight, which of course we have to talk about. But I thought the Sarah Silverman joke was hysterical. But the one thing that I disagree with is people were criticizing her for the way she looked. I got to tell you something.
She looks fine to me.
I got to tell you, she is friggin' hot. You know what? Because you see these skinny girls in L.A. You know what I'm talking about. And you ever do this, Paul? I know this has happened to you. You spank their behinds and you hurt your hand on their bony.
You feel their bony butts.
Their bony butts. And I'm sorry, you know what?
No good.
I want a back that when I smack, it smacks back. Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
I want a little
something I can hold on to.
I want some cushion. I want something that's got a little meat to it. I want a woman, not a girl.
Something that is typical of, say, females.
Yeah,
not
something
boys.
that women have, not a 12-year-old boy.
I do not buy into that idealized version.
No.
This is what chicks need to be. I think Britney Spears, to me, that is the best kind of chick, is a woman who's she's had a couple kids. She's got the little paunchy belly. In fact, didn't Quentin Tarantino have a little diatribe about that?
Certainly did.
In Pulp Fiction,
Yep.
where they talk about the little belly. The little belly's sexy as hell.
Yep.
So I thought Britney Spears looked better than she ever did.
The performance blew. It was really boring, and Of course, her music sucks, but
she just looks confused during the whole thing.
When she came out, I mean, I saw her and I said, well, she looks good to me, but I know there are people who are going to look at this and say, wow, she's fat.
Right.
Because compared to like her pre-baby weight and when she was working out and whatever, well, yes, she certainly is probably about 10 pounds heavier than that. Yeah. But that by all means does not make her fat.
You know what? That's actually the best 10 pounds. If you ask me, pound for pound, that's the best 10 pounds she's got. But
and now she's a MILF. She now qualifies as a MILF.
She's America's MILF. That's Britney Spears. That should be. She should own up to that. I mean, to me, I'm like a big fan of the website. You ever read that website, suicidegirls.com?
I don't read it, but I look at it.
You look at it. Okay, so I have a weekly column on there called Footage Fetishes, where I write about movies. So I love the girls on Suicide Girls. They're like the girls I used to date in college. You know, they're hot, but I wouldn't call them flaws. They're human. You know, these are real. These are real women. And they, you know, and they're exciting.
Well, I just watched. There's this. I'm sure you know of the movie, the Suicide Girls movie. I saw it on Showtime, I think, and it's basically just like a really long, kind of a documentary where they go on these photo shoots. All these Suicide Girls go on these photo shoots in like Italy.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah, I have the DVD of that.
Yeah, and it's fucking great. And
it's great.
The girls are all dirty and they enjoy their bodies.
But I'll tell you what, these women are sexy, and I'm not just saying by their looks. I mean, these women are intelligent. If you read their blogs and whatnot, I mean, it's like, to me, I like Suicide Girls because it's like a social networking website, like MySpace, but with a cover charge, so it keeps out the morons in the advertising. So you know what? I'll pay $5 a month or $4 a month, whatever it is, to keep out the riffraff, so I can actually have intelligent conversation with like-minded people who like vagina. So these are the people. This is what This is what binds us, right? We all like vagina. Can we just say that?
I like it.
A lot of the girls on the website happen to like vagina too, you know.
And I like that. I like that they like vagina.
Not just their own vaginas. So you know, I like that. But yeah, to me, I think Britney Spears she's really solidified her place as America's MILF.
I think, and she should embrace that.
Well, the other thing that's maddening about the whole thing is, and I've always hated. This is the thing that I knew was going to happen, and it's happened throughout my life. This happens. Somebody makes shitty music, and it becomes super popular. That's fine. That always happens. Then eventually that person puts out an album, and it's no longer popular, and people make fun of it. And I say, hey, fuckos, you're the ones who bought the album before. You have no room to make fun of her. This is the music she made. You don't like it now? Well, it's not that you got smarter, it's that you moved on to different shitty music. You have shitty taste. That is not her fault.
You're listening to something else
that is not her fault that the one thing that drives me nuts is the way that people will be mad at someone for being successful. That's not her fault that you gave her money.
Right.
She didn't do anything wrong.
No, I'm not a fan of any of that music. Like Justin Timberlake, I really don't like his music. However, I like Justin Timberlake as an actor and as a personality.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that guy's, he's got some balls, man. So I really respect that guy, but I would never listen to his music. So.
Which is not to say you don't think he's talented.
No, I think he's absolutely talented, just not the kind of thing that I'm into.
It's not your thing, exactly. I totally agree.
For me, it's a little too gay.
Right.
I mean, I'm just going to say it's a little too.
Yeah, I listen.
Too gay.
I have his album because I'm a little too gay, and there's one song in the entire album. This is my problem with it. There's one song in the entire album that he actually sings. The rest of it is falsetto or. Rapping, or I don't even mind that, but electronically enhanced sounds and stuff. Well-produced music, obviously the product of creativity, but what I like in music a lot, and you kids may not be familiar with this, but in the olden days, people would do this thing where they would sing a song.
I remember that.
Yeah, where they would make the words come out of their mouth in a tune, I guess.
Sure.
I've heard the first 10 seconds of a bunch of his songs, which is that's the longest it would take me to actually turn the channel or change it. But he's really good in Black Snake Moan and Alpha Dog, especially Alpha Dog. I think is probably the best thing he's done. In film. That to me, that movie is just, it's unbelievable and heart-wrenching, and it's one of those ones you kind of have to recover from seeing it because I don't know if you know anything about Alpha Dog, but check that one out on DVD. Throw it in your Netflix queue. However you absorb your media, you know, we're all sitting at this table here. We are all media junkies. I mean, pop culture and media junkies, and I'm, you know, every day I got to get my fix, whether it's, you know, DVD music or television, and especially television.
I think Justin Timberlake is just overall, he's a cool guy. I mean, I like to see him do shit like that episode of Punk'd. When I watched it, I thought that was so funny because he reacted so genuine throughout. Like, the deal was it was an IRS thing, and they showed up and said he owed money to the IRS, and they were going to take his house. And he reacted the way, he didn't, like, try to rock star him or try to big time him. He said, oh, no, this is fucked. I need to call somebody. He did what a responsible person would do. And then when it was all over, he laughed and said, wow, you totally busted me. That was hilarious.
I guess what we're all saying is, you know, by praising Justin Timberlake, is we probably all suck his cock. Are we all in agreement?
I wouldn't want to, but I would.
Go down on him?
Yeah, I would have to. Mainly just so I could tell people, hey, I sucked off Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, how many people can say that?
You know what? Let's find a segue to a new topic, but I'm going to leave that up to you, Paul.
All right, well, that just is a good segue for our trivia question this week, which is about the VMAs. We still haven't gotten, we're still 2 trivia questions behind from the last 2 shows, but last week's show just went up today, so hopefully we'll get an answer for that one. This week's trivia question is about the Video Music Awards, and it's kind of easy, so you guys might be able to get it, and if you do, I'll ask another one. But the question is, who was banned for life, banned from MTV for life, because of an appearance they made on the Video Music Awards?
Oh, I don't know.
Chris doesn't know?
Banned for life.
Yes, they performed on the Video Music Awards, and they performed live. They did something they weren't supposed to do.
Did they say fuck?
I'm not going to say it.
You're not going to say what they said?
I'm not going to say what they said.
Beastie
Obviously,
Boys.
because they said something.
Was it Slash or someone from Guns N' Roses and they said fuck? Then I think it's something else.
You're wrong. And you say the Beastie Boys?
I was going to say either the Beastie Boys or possibly Nirvana.
Both of those answers are wrong. But they're good guesses. So I will leave that. I'm sure somebody out there knows it because this is kind of famous.
Mine's actually a really good guess because I'm actually remembering something the Beastie Boys did. I just was did they ban
But that was on SNL. You're thinking of that Elvis Costello SNL thing?
No, I was thinking of something more playful they did, and I was like, did they get banned for that? But it wouldn't make sense. Last thing on the
so if you know the answer, you can always send it to me at Paul at thekingoftv.com.
Oh, you know what? I actually have to go do my segment on G4. But let's just take a break, and can we start back up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good.
All right, we're going to take a little break, and Chris is going to go do his show, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, we're back from our break, which is much shorter for you than it was for us, and Chris is back here. And so we're
you were making TV, weren't you?
Chris was making TV. Tell the folks what you do on the TV.
Oh, I am on a show called Attack of the Show, which is on the G4 network. And I do the DVD reviews, but I also do other stuff for them, you know, interviews and whatnot. So I'm kind of their go-to guy when it comes to film. But I'm also a video game nerd as well, so I'll be
fits in great there.
I'll be drafted into service whenever they're covering a large video game event like Halo 3 or something.
Tom Griffin, who is a frequent guest on the show and in the comedy group, is a nutso fan of that show.
Attack of the Show?
Yeah.
It's a pretty great show.
Yeah, I don't know if I have it on my cable system.
It's a lot of fun because it's the first time I've actually been able to be myself on television.
Yeah.
You know, every time I've done any other TV show that was Film Fanatic or, you know, X show, whatever. Yeah, wardrobe people telling you what to wear.
Yeah.
You got this person
all the time.
You got this person, you know, you got IFC telling you, we want you to have this certain kind of look. It's like, you know, I'm going to wear what I want. And this is the thing is, you know, G4 is like, frankly, the lowest money I've ever made working in television.
But
congratulations.
But it's the most fun I've ever had.
Because of that, you're free to do whatever you want. When I went in and
do whatever I want.
I was on Attack of the Show once because you gave him my name, and I did that thing at the end, the shootout they call it, or whatever they call it.
The loop.
The loop. And they were like, you know, I said, do you need to wear anything? They said, no, just no logos. Just wear whatever you want. I was like, great. And, you know, I didn't do anything for makeup or hair. I just came in the way I was. And then the only direction I got was make sure you interrupt people a lot. Don't feel like you have to wait for someone to stop talking. Just jump in. And I was like, well, that's easy for me to do.
No, it's a fun. I mean, like the thing is, it's unlike other TV shows I've worked on where people are fed things by producers.
Yeah.
It's the first TV show I've worked on where the people in front of the camera know what they're talking about, and for the most part, 95+% of all television that you consume on a news basis is news readers. They're people reading things off teleprompter that aren't particularly informed about what they're talking about. It's really disheartening. You know, the Dan Rathers have gone off to pasture, unfortunately, on HDNet, and the real people that know what they're talking about.
It totally shows on G4 where that video game show is one of my favorites.
Yeah, well, Morgan and Adam know exactly what they're talking about. Morgan's a huge game nerd. I mean, she really knows what she's talking about. Kevin Pereira, that guy is just huge into games.
Yeah,
I mean, just like everyone on the show. Olivia, oh God, I love Olivia. She's hot.
They show Beat the Geeks on G4 Canada.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I love Beat the Geeks, man. That's how I became a fan of you before we even met.
It's
so fun.
I will get emails still from people in Canada who watch the show.
Isn't it odd, by the way, as far as what's happened with video games, which happened just after, I'd say, that I was in my prime video game playing days, though, where you'll have people who are fanatics and who are also really not just into the gameplay, but you'll see that they're into the story built into the game and the lore
and the animatics.
Yeah, I mean, the medium is advanced so far.
It's great. Of course, it sells better than movies now. Bottom line, video games sell better than movies.
Yeah, I mean, the pre-sales of Halo, it's like the opening weekend box office of a big film.
Yeah.
We got to talk about TV because there's something that's actually been gnawing at me.
Yeah, you had a topic you want to
I want to introduce a topic. You've introduced like a bajillion topics. I want to get to introduce one. I'm going to introduce one, and you know what? This could end up being one of those debates.
Okay.
And I'm not even clear exactly which side I'm on because here's the thing that I propose. I think currently that we are living in not just, we've gone through the golden age of TV. I think we're living in the platinum age of TV. I think that TV now is better than it's ever been because there's so many choices. Yes, that means there's a lot of garbage still, but there's so many good shows, from drama series to reality shows to there's just more great TV being made today than has ever been made in TV history. And I would say, conversely, I'm a movie guy. I came from film. I think film is worse than it's ever been. And I really think that now we're living in an age where I think TV is better than movies. Let me present to you some evidence.
Please.
Wow, because I half agreed with you until you made that statement.
Okay, but no, listen. Let me list a couple things. First of all, TV shows on DVD, TV series on DVD consistently outsell big movies that are released on DVD. Lost, 24, the numbers that those TV shows move are
Heroes. Look at Heroes.
Heroes on
Holy
DVD.
Shit.
Huge. I mean, look at the top on box office on DVD. It's television shows. Other pieces of evidence. The theatrical experience has become more and more miserable.
Yeah.
And by miserable, it's people talking and using cell phones and texting and whatever. And you're paying $10 in the theater. The only movie theater I'll go in LA is the ArcLight. I love the ArcLight. I love the ArcLight. I mean, it's really made for film nerds, and
that's why they charge more. Because
I don't mind paying because you get it back in those points that they give you. But the thing is that as the film going experience becomes more and more miserable, the television watching experience is better than ever because HD TVs are cheaper than they've ever been. You get one for $600 now, a decent HD TV.
Right on.
You can set up a home theater that is with stellar sound and unbelievable. So you've got a better TV experience and a worse film experience.
And also because your cable company now will give you a free DVR. Basically, with the cable box, you get a free DVR. So now you schedule your own TV. You can anytime. Watch it. You watch when and what you want.
And I can pause it. I can pause it and hit the bathroom. Whereas if I'm at the movies, and I'm the worst. I haven't watched a movie, I think, ever where I didn't have to get up and take a break.
Yeah, it sucks.
You know what I'm saying? So there's that. I mean, the other thing is I'll say that when you look at the kinds of movies, let's just look at this summer, for example. Mm-hmm. Okay, this summer you had sequels. Mm-hmm. Prequels, remakes, movies based on pre-existing properties, whether it be comic books or whatever. The point is that the movies used to be where originality was thriving.
Right.
And now where's
it's all
originality?
TV.
Originality is all about television.
And it's funny.
because television worships in the way that, because we're in the business. We're not just people talking out of our asses.
We are in the biz.
Although somewhat we are. But the point is this: the way that the content is developed in the Hollywood system is a writer writes an original vision for a script. That script is purchased, and then that writer is fired.
Right.
And then they get another set of writers that didn't come up with that vision, and then they get notes from producers, they get notes from the marketing department, they get notes from people who, will this movie make a good Happy Meal? Will it be a tentpole for summer 2009? And the film is just gentrified, and by the time, the time from when a movie is conceived to when it hits theaters is about 7 years, meaning that nothing in the film world is timely.
Right.
Conversely, in the television world, something can happen this week, and South Park will have an episode about it.
Yep.
The Snook, on South Park.
Right.
Or, for example, the writers are in the writer room. These are people that have similar visions, similar sensibilities. Are in a writer's room, and it's not just a solitary writer sitting behind a computer screen. It's a writer that's given feedback, and feedback that's helpful.
Yeah,
and
immediate.
Immediate, and it's one of those things where writers, this is what I say, writers coming from television have the advantage of exercising their writing muscles. I'll give you an example. Writer that works on a television series that's on a writing staff will write a script or two during the course of that series and have the opportunity to have that show program seen and get immediate feedback via forums, via ratings, via everything that matters. All of those things, the things that really writers need to become better writers, effectively exercise those muscles. It's like going to the gym for writing. So because you're getting a constant feedback, that leads to better writing. Whereas in the film world, you write a script, you're like, you know what, I hope it sells, but you don't get that feedback, or you get it so late, you don't get the feedback in enough time to actually become a better writer. So you look at like the J.J. Abrams, the Judd Apatows, the Joss Whedon. These are people who've all transitioned to film and made movies that have made the regular film people
embarrassed them. Because of their work on TV was so great. And it's funny because we talked about this on another podcast.
Okay, so where do you stand on some of these things? I'm presenting a case.
You're absolutely. I could not agree more. I'm
going to go the con in a second.
Okay, well, I used to say this exact same thing when The Sopranos started to get big. That was what spurred me to think this. Fuck I Love Lucy. This is truly the golden age of television. This is where people are taking risks, and it's
the diamond age.
They're utilizing everything there is to use to make great TV. Because you look at the shows, especially the shows on FX are a perfect example. I watched Rescue Me, Nip Tuck, The Shield.
Oh my God!
I watched those shows, and they would never ever see the light of day on NBC or ABC. They would never do, even Fox. It's too ribald. But somebody goes, well, let's put it on a cable network where we can get away with more shit. First of all, the FCC doesn't even watch cable networks. They have no say over what goes on cable.
Thank God.
You can legally do whatever you want. But secondly, if people don't watch it, there are people in Middle America who don't even get FX, don't even get cable. So you put that show on there, and you can be so bold with it, and it frees them writers to make do the craziest shit.
Yeah, exactly. Sarah Silverman can fuck God. I mean, that's like the greatest on comedy.
No, I'm going to just do it by They Made Love.
All right, okay.
It's true. He just said They Made Love.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, and about movies, I think you're right too, because people bring their. I've been to so many movies. I go see a lot of movies with my kids in the summer, as I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
So many of them I walked out on. I walked out on the Bratz movie, left my kids sitting there.
Right.
I went out and just hung out in the lobby for a while. The Nancy Drew movie, same thing. I couldn't fucking bear to watch it. And so many of them, it's like, because the kids don't know how to act, the adults are on their phone. There's 100 previews and commercials before the movie.
Oh, the commercials. Yeah. This is one thing. You'll know I'm in a movie theater, and this always happens at Universal. I frickin' hate the Universal, the Universal City Walk has movie theaters there. On occasion, I have gone to see films there, and let me just say, I always boo. Whenever I see a Coke commercial or anything, boo!
Great.
Yes.
I will boo the commercial.
I hate it,
and I also protest when I get searched at airports, because I don't know, I feel like we're too complacent. I'm one of the few Californians, I'm serious, I am one of the few Californians in the state of California that has a car with bumper stickers on it. People in California are ballless.
What do they say?
One says,
Honk if you're horny?
one says, no. Here, I'll tell you my bumper stickers. I got a Suicide Girls bumper sticker.
Okay,
I got a
that's
bumper
fine.
sticker that says "Books, Not Bombs." I got another bumper sticker that says "Buck Fush." I got another bumper sticker that's Barack Obama. It says actually "Barack for the Future" instead of "Back to the." So it's sort of a movie reference, but it's Barack Obama.
Barack to the future.
And then I have another bumper sticker that says "I Heart Zombies."
Those are all good.
So but see, the thing is this. You know what? I got a new car. I put my bumper stickers on. Why? I'm from Detroit. I would express myself by putting bumper stickers on. I'm the only one on the road.
Now, what about the one that's? What about the bumper sticker that you had that said "I owe, so off to work I go"? Did you cover that one up?
I did. No, that's not one that I.
What about
have.
the one that said "Wine me, dine me, 69 me"?
No.
You didn't.
And you know what? Single and loving it, I don't have that bumper sticker either. But I don't know. Look, I
now, who's your
co-pilot?
co-pilot? Tell me that. Who's your co-pilot?
Actually, you know what? I've got one on. It says Chewie as my co-pilot.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, I know. That's a nerd thing. But look,
that one's great. That's the fucking comic book guy.
But what's great about bumper stickers? Let me just say this. What's great about bumper stickers? It's a great way. I got a dent in my car recently. Just one of those like parking dings. It's like, damn. And I was like, I could pay $200 and get that ding. And I'm like, wait a second. This bumper sticker fits right over it, and you can't even see that there's a ding, and it looks cool. So, that's it all.
I want to go back to your topic.
But anyways, back to the TV is better than movies.
Here's the thing. I think that you make a really good case for the TV experience, but I'm going to say that the best TV still isn't as good as the best movie. Yeah, some of the crappiest movies are the worst things you've ever seen. But say a movie like Shoot 'Em Up, which is
we just went and saw Shoot 'Em Up. Did you see that?
I hear it's amazing. Yeah, I want to see
nice, self-contained. The thing that TV doesn't do, and in a way, what I'm arguing is just medium, because it's just this story. But what they do, you couldn't do on TV because it is all about the shots. It is all about the filmmaking, the art of filmmaking. Superbad, which was, of course, written by somebody from TV. Still, if he had done it for TV, it wouldn't have been as good. It belonged in a theater.
Enough. You could not have said cock as many.
And it needed to be contained. Those kids, say you took those characters and you made a little show about it. Well, then that's the most popular show nobody watched and was fucking canceled.
Freaks and Geeks.
Instead,
I love Freaks and Geeks, man. I got the edition in the yearbook.
Instead, what it becomes is it becomes a self-contained.
That's right, you are on.
It becomes a self-contained story that I can finally get my wife to go see, that I can finally get my friends to go, no, seriously, go see this fucking thing.
I think Shoot 'Em Up is the perfect example of what Chris was saying, because it's not a sequel, it's not a prequel.
Right, it's original.
It's not based on a video game.
I will say this, I am looking forward to Iron Man.
You're right.
Looking forward to Iron Man.
Hold on, let's not get ahead of ourselves, because I want to talk about Iron Man. But that's exactly what But I think you guys are both right, because it doesn't happen often, but when a movie like Shoot 'Em Up comes out and it fits the criteria of what a great movie is, it works 100%, bullseye. It works.
And it works better than TV can.
Right. The problem is that is 1 in 100, especially during the summer.
Sure, you're right.
Yeah,
I was watching TV today, and I saw the trailer for Iron Man, and it was, what was I watching? I was watching something on Comedy Central, Colbert Report, I think, and it was a long trailer, and I was like, this looks fucking great. Robert Downey looks great, cool effects, he's flying around, and then it says, May 2008. What the fuck? I'm like, why are you showing me that trailer now?
So you can
I can go into fucking cryogenic sleep and then wake up and see it?
So you can have a nerdgasm in your pants. But let me get
because
back.
The sad thing that's going to happen is between now and the time that movie comes out, I'm going to be so fucking inundated with Iron Man cups and toys and other horse shit that I'm going to be mad about it, and it's going to ruin my movie experience.
All right, well, look, we're never going to come to look, they're good aspects. Film and TV, I just think, are in a very transitional phase. I think TV is celebrating probably one of the best. I mean, it's also transitional because of the internet. There's some issues with regard to downloadable content and DVD and whatnot. But like, look, there's some serious stuff happening in the film industry now because it's so expensive to get a film out there, which results in so many bad movies because they're over marketed. I feel like the marketing people are doing their job, but the filmmakers aren't allowed to do their jobs.
Right. You're right about that.
Creative and original visions. But here's something I'm going to throw out there. I've always wanted to get your opinion on this because the guys are the TV experts, and I really want. What do you think about this, right? So the theatrical experience has now become, what if there was some crossover? And let me just propose this to you, right? I'm going to throw this out there. I'm a huge fan of shows like, Lost and 24, and Heroes especially, I think is amazing. What about this? What if you go through the entire season of Heroes, right? And the Heroes season finale plays in theaters for 1 week. Okay? You get to the Heroes season finale, and you can go to the theater and see it. It only plays a limited engagement, limited number of screens, digital, projected digital, for 1 week, and you get to see it a week before everybody else. Now, guess what? It still airs on television a week later for free, with commercials and all that. But you get to see it commercial-free with other Heroes fans, and you get to see it in the theater.
And probably different footage, extra footage.
Maybe extra footage, or maybe it's uncensored or whatever. But they just do a limited engagement of the Heroes season finale, Lost season finale.
Oh, that'd be so
And you
great.
see it before it airs on television. It still airs on TV maybe a week later, maybe even a few days later. It opens on a Wednesday. You can see Lost season finale. You can see the Lost.
Cool.
Yeah, I wonder, as an experiment, is there a company out there, an NBC/Universal?
That would be great.
A Warner Brothers, Warner Television. Is there a company that has the balls enough to go, you know what? We're seeing, because they've talked about the modern movie theater being not just about movies, but doing sporting events and concerts. This was something George Lucas talked about, because here's the other thing that supports my argument that TV is better is the movie audience is shrinking.
You're right.
Fewer people are going to the movies. As much as they love to tout, hey, we made $4 billion, admissions are down. Yeah. And they're shrinking, and theater owners are kind of freaking out.
Well, I think they could do that because, you go to the movies
you like
now,
that idea?
Yeah, and they have, special events already, concerts and stand-up specials and things like that they want.
No, they do. They do at things like they do film festivals, at the ArcLight. At the Alamo Drafthouse, my favorite movie theater in America, with all due respect to the ArcLight, the Alamo Drafthouse in Austin, Texas, where you can drink beer, get a pitcher of margaritas, order a pizza, and get nachos or whatever, and kick back and watch a grindhouse movie. They show things in context, which is fascinating. They had the original actor who played Huggy Bear host a screening of Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, fantastic!
They've done these screenings. They did a screening of Jaws on a lake. All right, did you know about this? They did screening of Jaws where it was on a lake, and they sort of floated out a projection screen. They showed Jaws, and they had guys in scuba gear go out and during key moments of Jaws come out and they tugged on people's legs who were floating on rafts around there watching Jaws.
Sweet.
I mean, the Alamo Drafthouse has done some amazing events, and I think in order to get people to come back to the theater, you've got to do things that are beyond traditional thinking, and that's why the idea that the Lost season finale or season opener, these kind of television events could be seen in a theatrical environment, and that's where you would want to have the experience where you would see it with other fans.
I totally agree.
You'd want to have that communal thing, not just in your living room, but you're going, it's like, holy crap, I didn't realize there were so many Lost fans in my neighborhood.
Well,
there are.
I think the only thing that would stop that...
Would you pay $10 to go see the 2-hour season ender, maybe with extra footage or something,
I might.
of Lost, just if it played a limited engagement?
Well, first, I would try to get in for free because I'm famous. And I would say,
or
hey,
maybe
I'm the famous TV geek. But I want to say the only thing that would stop that would be, studio horseshit, where somebody suggests that and the studio goes, well, why don't we do both? Why don't we have this, and then let's make the Heroes movie? And then, of course, the Heroes movie is a piece of shit.
You add the movie to any TV show, and it's usually the worst piece of crap. I mean, how many of those have turned out, everything from Dukes of Hazzard to Starsky? I mean, how many bad TV to movie translations are there? And when you add the movie, it adds some of this level of importance. Like, it's got to be everything and everyone. It's like, no, you just take the show as it would have aired on television.
Exactly.
This is the thing is I'm sure that there are costs involved with regard to actors.
The Simpsons got it right. Did you like the movie?
I did not see the Simpsons movie.
It's fantastic.
Why not?
I'm gonna catch that on DVD. That's where I'm. Look, you know what? There's only so much media that I can consume in a day.
For me, the dividing line is when I go see a movie, unless it's a movie with my kids. If I go see a movie by myself or with friends as an adult, I always have to wrestle. Is this something I want to see in theaters? For two reasons: A, because it's funny and there's going to be other people around laughing, or B, because it's big and it should be seen on a big screen. If it doesn't fit those two requirements, I don't pay to see it. I may sneak into it, but I don't pay to see it in the theater. Shoot 'em up, was the perfect example because I'm glad I saw that on the big screen.
Yeah.
Because too much of it would have been lost. Superbad, another example. It was so funny. Hearing the whole theater roar with laughter was something I didn't want to miss. Whereas other shit, like we snuck into the boring old tomato afterwards.
Yeah.
I could not have been less interested.
You know what?
Is there a way that we can start, because you're very powerful in the TV world.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're. I mean, like, look, don't diminish your. Look, Paul, you're extremely powerful in the world of television. Is there a way that we
I
can?
hope someone is listening.
You're in great shape too.
Is there a way that we could start a campaign as an experiment? They do the Heroes and/or Lost and/or 24 season finale in the theater, not 24 the movie. You do 24 the season finale. Now that would be cool. Because how do you do 24 the movie? Is it 24 hours long? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous.
Well, you know, when I was on G4, I was on with Greg Grunberg, and we've become friends. So maybe
I like that guy.
Yeah, he's great.
He was great in Alias.
Yes,
he was
great.
So good in Alias.
He was great in the Hollow Man, that shitty Invisible Man movie.
Oh
but he was
God,
good in
that's
it.
right.
But he's a very cool guy, so I'll talk to him about this, and he can get me in touch with Tim Kring, and we'll do the Heroes movie.
It's one of those things where it's like, you know, what do they got to lose? And you know what if they only did it in 10 theaters?
Right.
What if they only did it in 10 theaters and they did it in the theaters that are equipped for digital? So you're not making prints, right? That's the whole thing. That you know what prints cost.
Right.
It's like $3-4 grand for a print.
Yeah, and obviously
people
throughout America are going to miss out, and that's what you get.
Could
for
you imagine the bragging rights you would have I saw the season finale of Lost already.
Maybe like the pitches, you don't pitch Lost or Heroes of those, but you pitch like, hey, wouldn't it be great to see an episode of like the Jim Belushi on his show?
According to Jim, the season finale.
According to Jim, the season finale. You know what?
In the theater.
With double penetration.
Yeah.
Something you can never show on whatever network that it airs, because I have never watched it.
We have extra footage, the funny stuff we never show.
Well, see, I mean, think about that. You know, there's no, I mean, look, it could be the R-rated according to Jim with full anal.
Where he has anal sex with Courtney Thorne.
I go see that.
My God.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think we've talked this topic out clearly. We've denigrated.
You know what? We started with anal sex. I think it's a good thing.
Bring it back around. That's the topic.
We end at anal sex.
Well, let me do my 6 degrees of Henry Winkler for this week. That's where anybody on TV can be connected to Henry Winkler in 6 degrees or less, much like the Kevin Bacon one. This week I chose Jamie Foxx because he was very funny on the VMAs. So Jamie Foxx was, of course, the star of the Jamie Foxx Show, played Jamie King. He was on that show with Garcelle Beauvais, I think is how she says her last name. She just got married, Garcelle Beauvais-Nealon is her name, whatever. She was on a short-lived show called Eyes with Tim Daly. They were detectives.
I think you should do. I think you should do whoever your special guest is. I think you should do.
No, I
connect Chris Gore to Henry Winkler.
No. Eyes starred Tim Daly. Tim Daly, of course, was on Wings. Oh, you're backing
down. Look at you with the head.
Tim Daly was on Wings.
I challenge you, Paul.
With Crystal Bernard, who was on Happy Days with Henry Winkler. Well, have you ever done any actual acting in your career?
I've done bits in like people's short film. I was in Night of the Living Dead, the Tom Savini.
On TV though, it's all. It has
this
to be
is all
TV.
Yeah,
see.
Acting, no. I mean,
see, that's why I can't do Chris Gore.
Okay, yeah.
Has to, because I could do talk shows and shit for all. I could do that for everybody. I could say Jamie Foxx was on The View with Barbara Walters, who interviewed Henry Winkler. I mean, that's kind of easy.
See, there you go.
But I don't do it that way. I do TV and acting appearances only. So next time you get an acting gig,
snobby set of rules.
Next time you get an acting gig, you let me know, and I'll hook you up with Henry Winkler.
I'm a terrible actor.
Okay,
you should never hire me.
The last thing I want to do is, as I mentioned many times, I write for this blog, TV Squad, and apparently there are people in the world who think that if they have any opinions or thoughts about television, they should send them to TV Squad because we then will disseminate it to whoever matters. They'll write in to complain about a show or to say a show is great, or especially American Idol. They write in all the time. But it's not just, hey, I like American Idol. It's very specific to a certain person. And there was 2 emails we got this past week that I think are super funny. The first one is about Whoopi Goldberg on The View from a guy named C. Wesley. And I'm going to read it the way it's written. Thank you, Whoopi, for letting people know about your Jewish heritage. And just being on the show make a huge improvement overall. I love how you see the real human point of view of common people life. Please talk more about your Jewish heritage and your goal that you, Whoopi, bring to The View. Thank for the spice.
Miss North Carolina.
And now the thing is,
What did Whoopi say?
who fucking? Oh, she didn't write back.
Really?
The thing that amazes me is it's all fine to be stupid and not know how to spell heritage and not know how to use capital letters and not know how to type.
Because you know how many hot women probably spell like that?
Exactly. But are you so stupid that you think you're going to write a letter to some fucking random blog and Whoopi Goldberg is going to read it? Here's the best one. From Jenna Wiley.
Yeah, sorry.
And the subject, from Jenna Wiley, the subject is Your Show Rocks. And this is in all caps, by the way. Hey, I just want you to know that iCarly is the best show. I almost peed my pats. P-A-T-S. Pats.
What, like the Patriots?
I
Like
guess she peed
like
into
Tom
the
Brady
Pats.
almost peed the Pats.
P.S. Do not make fun of me. That's the best part, with a million exclamation points. So when I saw that, I said, well, I have to make fun of you now.
Well, guys, it was a lot of fun doing the show.
Well, we're going to wrap it up with Jim's mashup impression. This is how we end every show.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is your first time. Jim basically takes two really bad impressions and morphs them together to make a really
You have to guess what it
super
is.
shitty impression. And generally they're a pun of some sort, like Tom Hanks William Jr. Or Alec Guinness Book of World Records. That was a good
Gotcha,
one.
okay.
So we have to try to guess what it is. So this is how we'll close the show.
All right, let's hear it.
Lord Vader, only you could be so bold. How dare you stop this prom vessel? This is not a prom. This is a cruel joke planned by your friends on you, and I am putting you under arrest before they dump pig's blood on your head.
It's Carrie meets...
Yeah, I get that. Carrie meets Star Wars, but we got
Star
to figure
Wars.
out the pun. Are you done? Is that
Yeah,
it?
that's pretty much it.
That's the whole thing?
That's it, yeah.
Wow.
Really? You know it, and you know the two characters. Really?
Well, it was Darth Vader and Carrie's mom.
No,
Carrie
Lord
Fisher.
Yeah, it's
Carrie-
good job.
Carrie Fisher?
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, that's not her mom. That's Princess Leia says that. Oh, Lord Vader, only you can be so bold.
See, it's not Darth Vader. That was Carrie
Carrie
Fisher's line.
Fisher.
That's
Yeah.
yeah,
Carrie
that's what she
White
says.
She was the nutcase on The Lot. That show on The Lot.
Yeah, I thought she was good on
Nobody
the
watched, but
Not enough people did.
I think she's hotter now, which will be a topic for
Well,
another
if
day.
you could do an impression of Carrie Fisher,
America's
that might have been
milk.
better.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really recognize the Carrie Fisherish properties.
I got
of
that, but I've watched
impression.
that movie too many times.
Yeah.
I find that hard to believe. All right, this is the end of the show. Stick around. There's some more stuff we want to talk about, but that's the end of Chris's portion, so we want to thank you for being on the show. And Chris, where can people learn about you and what you're doing, stuff you're doing?
Just go to chrisgore.com, or you can catch me on MySpace at myspace.com/thatchrisgore.
And as always, go to filmthreat.com for all
Filmthreat.
your movie needs.
That's right. And guys, it was great.
Oh no, he just spilled on our equipment.
God, I'm sorry.
You
sorry.
son of a bitch.
Sorry.
All right, thanks, guys. Okay, so this is a special addendum to this show, episode 63. On a serious note, you may have heard us mention a guy named Adam Finley on the show many times. He's a fan of our podcast, and he's written in suggestions to Jim for mashups to do and stuff. And Jim was a guest on his podcast, which was very, very funny. And I met Adam. He was writing for TV Squad, and he was a fan of mine and asked me to write him, and then he helped me get a job writing for TV Squad. And he was very prolific. He would write about 80 posts a month, which was amazing to me. And that's just for TV Squad. He also wrote for other blogs and publications and stuff, and he was very prolific, and he was very funny. And his podcast, which I believe is called Adam's Utterly Podcastical Podcast, was just a lot of fun, and it was nonsense.
And there was no format. Like, the thing he would do is sometimes it would just be him and a friend nattering for a while, which was entertaining.
Right. One time he had Jim on, and he just interviewed Jim over the phone for a while. It was fun. One time he had an interview with a conversation between Phil McGraw and his dad, Quick Draw McGraw.
Yeah.
But
and I wrote him and said, why did you not send me that mashup?
But as you may have guessed, Adam passed away over the weekend. He was hit by a bus while he was riding his bike, and he died. And they had services for him, I think, on Sunday. And it was very sad. He was only 30 years old. And it's just one of those things that you think about when a friend of yours dies, and you think, wow, he was funny and smart and a nice guy. And I know so many people who are pricks who I could die and I wouldn't miss, but he is definitely not in that category. It's funny, all the outpouring from people who knew him or were familiar with his work, how many people were affected by this. And so we just wanted to just kind of give a shout out about Adam and
I'll tell you something funny Adam did one time, because Adam and I had kind of become friends and talked about him coming out here and being on our podcast. And one time I would often, anybody who's listened to the show, I often will pimp Adam. And for reals, go to Raise Your Kids My Way, Damn It.
Actually, Raise Your Children My Way.
Raise Your Children My Way, Damn It.com. It's really funny, and go through the archive, because the premise was for a help book that he was planning on publishing, and it's really funny. So the first couple months are basically faux chapters of that book, and then the website became something else that was equally funny. But I would reference Adam a lot. Just Adam sent me this, Adam did this, and one week somebody sent me a mashup, and it wasn't Adam. And at that point, I even said, oh, and normally I do mashups from my buddy Adam, and he had really not emailed me at all, but I was like, so big shout out to my buddy Adam, who's fucking awesome. And then he sent me an email that said, hey, thanks for letting people know I'm fucking awesome. Now, if only some of those fuckers would catch on, which was just really a funny kind of thing that I could relate to, just that sort of self-effacing sense of humor. And I'm really still kind of jacked up, because I liked having him around better than I liked having him not around. So
yeah, he was a funny guy, and obviously you can see for yourself. Go to his blog before it's gone, raiseyourchildrenmyway.com, and he only did about 6 or so podcasts, but some of them are short, some of them are long, but they're all very funny. So go ahead and go to iTunes or wherever and listen to those, and hopefully he can be remembered by everyone. So that's the end of the show. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Most of us, of course, recognize Fred Flintstone from his role on the Flintstones, but he has been out of the public eye for a long time. Recently, he was committed to a nursing home. It took me a while, actually, to track him down, and the staff here at the home told me I could speak to him for a few moments. He does tend to, at his age, reasonably enough, he does tend to slip in and out of senility, and I was warned about this before going in, so that's something to keep in mind when you listen to the interview. Okay, first of all, Mr. Flintstone, I just want to say that I am truly honored to speak with you today. Actually, it looks like you're getting ready to have some lunch there, huh? Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm Adam.
Hello, Fred Flintstone speaking.
That's a potato, Fred. That's not a phone. Where are you going? He's... You can't see this. He's gotten up. He's going to his desk. I think he's looking... He's looking for something. I'm not... Dabba? Okay. He's at the window now. Fred.
Bonnie!
Fred. Fred?
Bonnie!
Fred?
Bonnie! Bonnie!
All right. Here, I'm gonna get up here a second.
Bonnie!
Here, Mr. Flintstone.
Bonnie!
Here, no. Here, come on. I'm gonna help you back to your seat here.
Bonnie!
Right. Here you go.
Bonnie!
Have a seat right here.
Bonnie!
Yeah, there you go. All right. All right, here we go.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
no,
all right.
okay. No, you bet. Yep, we'll do that.
All right.
What? All right. Well, the nurse is telling me that I should go. So, before I do, I just want to say once again, it was an honor to meet you, Mr. Flintstone, and I hope we can do this again sometime.
See you tomorrow, Joe.
I'm not. Yeah.